nowhere to go. Had me a job till the market fell out. Tried hard to borrow, but there was no help. Now I've got nowhere to go. Working man with nowhere to go. One last look at my land, auctioneer with his gavel in hand, and he said, it's got to go. Worked this piece all my life, broke my heart and it took my wife. Now I've got nothing to show. I need a job for these two hands. I'm a working man with nowhere to go. Wandered aimless in the city with my dirt working boots and my old straw hat in hand, singing a song by Woody Guthrie. This land is your land, but it ain't my land. I'm a working man with nowhere to go. I was born to the
And hi, everybody.
sunrise, breaking back all day. Now I've got something to say.
And hi to everybody. There we go. Trying to come on.
Not in long.
Yep, I'm watching the show while I'm waiting on the computer to come up here so that we can start. And
Are they ever gonna understand?
I'll be right there. Okay, give me a
Can't
minute.
leave a working man. Nowhere
Okay,
to
so
go.
let's just go live. No, it's it's the way we do things here. We always hope for the best, prepare for the worst, because that's kind of the way life runs. Anyway, while this catches up, and I know you guys are getting lag, and I apologize. Of course, now here's an argument. If we had our headquarters, the big transitional housing and hotel, you'd be like T1 worth of speed. So that was TAHALAST online call-in live show that we're still waiting to settle down to do its thing, because we've got a lot to talk about in our time, and I don't want to waste our time not being there for you to talk about the topics we're going to talk about today, which include but not limited to how credit and the current credit system affects homeless families who are trying to get loose from homelessness. There we go. Oh, I'll remember how to speak English in a minute. It'll come back to me. Okay, so I did some research, and I also got blessings this week that we're not going to have to move right away. The landlord is giving us more time to either find a place or whatever. So we got time, and we three are indoors. But it was really funny to me when he said, "Well, for $75,000." And I'm thinking, isn't that the same price as the April house? Yeah, it's distinctly a little coinky dinky. Okay. I like coinky dink. I do. It's a cool thing, but not when it's your life. Just putting that out there. Okay, so in that process of chasing the house, we learned a lot about us as a people, not an organization, but as a people, what was required to stay here. And in the process of that learning, we decided that we would pontificate. Yeah, Mars is in the back, but she's not doing any typing or anything. Pontification. There we go. Yeah, we were going to pontificate. Who says I know English, right? I'm only an American. What do you want from me? All right. We're going to pontificate on the credit struggles that we had, and we have a nice lady that I don't know that I want to put her on blast, and at the same time I want to give her business because she's like, oh, no problem. Oh, in fact, let's start at the beginning of this. So we get the announcement from the landlord, we get the vacate thing, and he's like, if you want to buy the house, blah, blah, blah. And this is where it gets funny. And I mean, really funny, haha. So the thing you're pounded upon is that you have to have 620 and up to participate in the system, FICO or other. If you don't got a 620, we really don't want to talk to you. So your brain says, let's do the smart thing. Let's make it 650. Let's fight the good fight. Now that means you have to find something, because this, once again, this is why I think it happens at 18 and then kind of decides on how you live your life. At 18, you leave home, you need a job, and they're going, you have no experience. You didn't do the work from 16 to 18, so you concentrated on school. Now you need a job, and they're like, you have no experience. Can't argue. And you're like, it's dishwashing, dude. No, I want an experienced dishwasher. Okay. When it comes to your credit life, this comes up again. And it's just funny to me because back when I was 18 to 30, that's 12 hard years, I worked, I spent, and I got advice from my youth group leader, Diane Limke Ziegler, that get a card, buy a pack of bubble gum. If they ask for payments, make the payments, otherwise pay it off. Cut up the card, stick it in the drawer, and that's it. And I'm like, what? She goes, trust me. Your credit, once that bubble gum's paid off, but the card was never closed, about 2-3 years in, they're going to be like, dude, he's worth like $5,000. Ooh, we should offer him more stuff. New credit card shows up, buy the bubble gum again, maybe move up to a Clark bar. Yeah, I know, for particular snacks. And once again, pay it off, cut it, put it in the drawer. This will create a monster credit file for you. You have like 50 credit cards, all available, and I thought that was crazy talk. I did. 18 and immortal, smartest thing in the room, right? So I didn't bother. I didn't even bother to get the Sears card that I had planned to get. Mom had Sears card, and I was going to get my Sears card, and it's going to be great. And then Sears said no. And it never crossed my mind to ever go back. And then I went to Montgomery Ward's, and they said no. And this must not be for me, because I know I'm making enough money. I know I am. I'm between temp service and jobs I'll take on in a heartbeat. Worked very rarely under the table. Yeah, my 40s and 50s. Yeah, that's under the table. But back in my 1820s, I'm a hard-working man. That's why I like that theme song. I'm a hard-working man. Yeah, you know it. I was. I didn't care. Matter of fact, I wrecked my body during those years. There's a pallet jack for a reason, or a forklift, or a crane. And, when you're a temp, you want to be impressive. Maybe they'll keep you. So go pick up that 55-gallon barrel and don't even think twice about it. Just go do it. Yeah, kill. Okay, suffice it to say, in the 50s, it comes back to be haunted by your 20s when you were really stupid. But that digression is still connected to credit. So, anyway. now we're sitting at 50 some, and 3 adults. Matter of fact, Marcia, our little heart of the organization, had no credit when she got here. It was like, who dat? Right? So they say, go to Credit Karma. That's the place to go. Let's go to Credit Karma. And yeah, Credit Karma will be great for you and teach you how to climb your stuff. Okay. What happens when you go to Credit Karma and they go, who? Well, what's your social security number? Never heard of it. Seriously? Can you send us a picture ID? Why, yes, I can. Nope, don't know you. It's like, what the hell? Okay. So that means that you're stuck chasing stuff like, of course, like any other American family in Minnesota, we have Fingerhut. Okay, that's our company, and we always felt, Fingerhut. So they have a training program, the training wheels program, I call it. You get $100, $200, pay that off, might let you move up. Okay, they did. Okay, but Fingerhut isn't the big dog. You need a Visa MasterCard, don't you? That's what they keep telling us. So we got sucked into the Credit One scam. Please don't fall for that. You want Capital One, not Credit One. Credit One is, I'm not gonna liable, blah blah blah, but suffice it to say, it was a very bad idea for us, and we'll be paying for it for the rest of our lives. So in order to get your credit started, you need to find something simple, which, by the way, would be Fingerhut and the Training Wheels program. Try to not see your limit, spend your limit. For those of us with a Keurig, there's boxes of coffee for 48, 60 bucks, whatever, and get that, pay it off. And do it again every, we're talking about 48 to 96 pods of coffee, as an example. Very good thing to waste your credit at Fingerhut upon. And, and build it. Okay. But today I want to talk to you about a bigger picture, especially when it comes to housing. Okay. So, two things we're going to talk about in particular is because when you're looking at getting a home and you have a job, matter of fact, I'm using me as an example, us as an example, so that my metaphors stay on task. The house is $75,000, and the down payment, which would be about 3 to 4%, was like $2,600, right? And we know we have enough money, but how that money falls decides. So then you can't just borrow money for a down payment on a house. You can have it gifted from friends and family. Kind of weird. It's like, I want to get a loan to get a house, and your payment's only going to be like 30 bucks. So can I have this $1,200 to offset my stuff? And they're like, no. You can do a secure loan for that, right? So take your car and go to the bank and say, okay, I'm almost at the house. I need to take out a loan. Here's my car. Here's the keys. Here's the title. Can I get my money? And they're going to turn around and say, you don't have a 620. Just happened. Okay. So you can get a house for 580 on first home owner, blah, 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 whatever. But you can't get, the small loan to clean up the mess, or a consolidation loan even. We looked at all of it. And it also depends on how much time you got. So if your landlord says you got 45 days and you're like, oh crap, we only want to keep the house, it takes time to do the paperwork. It takes time to do the closing and all that stuff. And it's an amazing system that I find funny, strictly because there's a little thing on our Facebook page, a picture of a guy holding, sign up and says, there are more vacant houses than there are homeless. There's a reason. And we're going to cover the FICO score and the scoring system here. It's actually kind of, well, for want of a better word, it's almost elitist. Okay, so staying focused. Reason I say this. Okay, so we've been here 7 years, and our top rent has been 900. Our bottom rent's been 765. Right. So your common sense, not your credit sense, your common sense says, "Oh, we've been here 7 years, and we've done about 68 grand into the house, and our bank paid that stuff for us. We didn't write money orders. We had it directly sent to the landlord. So that means that there's a paper trail to follow. This would be great. So we'll go to our bank, explain what we want to do. They'll be like, hey, cool, you're right. You've made these payments for 7 years. All right. What's he asking? Yeah, I'm sure the house has to be inspected, appraised, blah, 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 blah. Okay. More money. Okay. But yeah, should be a piece of cake, right? Then we come into the 580 play, and Mars is a whole 5 points short. And then there's the income to debt ratio. Now here's the thing. If I'm paying 765 and my mortgage is more like 622 after insurance, after taxes, after all that stuff that they add in, including mortgage insurance, which is the greatest oxymoron in the world. Put out mortgage insurance on a house that doesn't cover the mortgage. What the hell? Anyway, okay. So it just made common sense logic to me that, oh, well, we'll be coming in cheaper. We've got this pay history. And although our credit may be a little skiffy, we've got the living proof that this is a good thing, right? Our bank decided not to, so I'm not going to poke the bear and mention a name. It's a view kind of thing. Anyway, so the daughter, who had a really rough ride and 9 months of serious homelessness living with friends, and said, you gotta talk to Sue. Sue can do anything. Okay. So we go and talk to Sue. And Sue was a font of information. It was gorgeous, and she's explaining credit and how it works and what we can do and what we can't do. And then came the offer, because the landlord wants what most house owners want. I've fixed up the house, I've done this to it and this to it, and it has a set value for me. Okay, that's nice. Suffice it to say that that doesn't necessarily work for the rest of us. Okay, that's just anyway. This can go all day, because in all honesty, the part that makes it hardest is that no matter what you choose to do, the system is kind of offset to not let you do it. They want you to do it. They want you to take it seriously and, work toward this goal. It is the American dream to own your own house, 2.3 pets, and some children, and a car. Okay. That would depend, again, on something totally, really not related to what you're going to go through, because you want to be indoors. And matter of fact, staying on topic here, we not only want to be indoors, we're all in our 50s, so it's like homeless, car living, box living, really not appealing. But at the same time, did you think through what you really want to do, or are you just knee-jerking to stay where you are? The landlord is untrustworthy. I'm saying that you need to think on, is this person, trustworthy? Because you could cut a deal. I had figured out that we would get the financing we needed at the number we could afford, and then just paying the difference. I haven't heard back from the real estate lawyer, but I didn't think that was illegal. Maybe it is. I don't know. I didn't care. When you want to stay indoors, you don't care. Okay. But to avoid repeating myself 700 times, because this is a serious moment of TAHALAST journalism, let's start out with learning what credit is. For those of you who don't know, but you hear people talking a lot of smack in your ear, okay, here we go. All right. So, credit and a credit score, as you can see, the credit score is the United States is a number representing the credit worthiness of a person, the likelihood that that person will pay his or her debts. And here's the part that I find funny. So back in the 20s, when 20s and 30s, when I was working and spending and doing, technically I never missed a payment on anything because I always pay cash. And we learned by 27, as a random bitted number, that the best thing you can do is always pay your rent on time so that these people will not put your butt outside. See? So when you're talking about credit worthiness and you take a more common sense approach versus, I just want a house, you only to stay indoors. Okay? So if you have that mindset and that's been the way you work and such, it's harder on you because your brain says, we just need to do this thing and we'll be fine. Yeah, okay, whatever. My daughter showed up. Today's Mother's Day, by the way. So I owe like gobs of presents and such. Just it's not getting easier, it's getting worse. And that's house hunting, mortgage calculation. At one point, before this past school year, she could do it in her head. I think the kids are starting to suck the knowledge out of her brain. But a little bit. Yeah, she's okay. She says a little bit. And I promise not to put her on camera. Really want it. But anyway. But we'll get a voiceover. So we will take your wisdom, but not throw you on camera. Fair enough? Okay. All right. So Dina Marie is my faithful psychic and oldest daughter and a whole lot of other crazy stuff.
Shortest daughter.
Was that what?
Shortest daughter.
And yeah, actually, it's kind of funny because, genetically, me and her mother are not, short people. We are kind of up there. So, Dana was born back in 1984. She's been elsewhere and is now back in our lives. Yada, yada, yada. A big, long story.
Yeah.
But here she comes and she gets to meet her second in command, the daughter right below her, Destiny. And Destiny's like 6, kissing, and still likes heels. God bless her. Well, the nice part is when you kiss your kid and she's already in heels, you're just like, you do that. But then comes my little Dina, and it's like, if anyone should have an English rack straight out of the castle, do let me know. I'm going to crank her up there a bit. 2 more inches. There we go. Okay, you say.
I just want to be without the pain.
Oh.
I'll stay at my 5'7". Just I'd like the pain to go away.
Okay, all right. Well, if anybody wants to give up a rack for the sake of someone else's pain, there we go. Okay. When talking about houses and stuff, right? What was your experience there? Because now, once again, we're not going to blast. Hold on a second here. I want to make sure we're clean running. There we go. I don't want to have to undo that. So I was like, okay. When Dina did it, she had
Royal. I can never say it right. RD.
RD. Okay, so RD was the program to save the day. This will be perfect for you.
Not so much.
Not so much. And the worst part about it is, I'm the last one to play the race card, but every once in a while, you're just not sure. You're really not sure about
I
how
was.
you were sure that it was the race card. And okay, the thing was, she got so far. In fact, you tell your story.
Okay, so we started in a rinky-dink trailer that was falling apart faster than we could fix it. So we proceeded to, improve our credit. Originally we planned on buying the property the crappy trailer was on and put a better one on. Okay, RD wouldn't do that. So, all right, let's start house hunting. And we found a house. And it didn't meet all our needs, but it met enough needs to get out of crap. And 3 days before closing, they proceeded to the RD proceeded to back out the funding. And my adopted sister of sorts and I had gone directly to the RD office located in Cambridge, Minnesota, and proceeded to sit down with the gentleman that I started all this with and the new girl that was starting to take over my case. And the gentleman of the pair refused to look at me, refused to talk directly to me, and would only talk to my sister, who, as I said, is a quote-unquote adopted sorts and is a white girl. So, yes, unfortunately, I believe that racist is a bit of a thing there, but I also know that that gentleman is now gone from the office. So,
Coinky Dink, my personal favorite.
So my children and I actually got to be homeless for roughly 9 months. And we ended up going through a normal mortgage office, but still went through a different form of Royal Development funding. And after 9 months of homelessness, we bought our house. And I made a quick grab, which was a mistake layout-wise of the house. It doesn't really work for our family.
Okay. So now actually that brings me to a point, because we have a plan as only the Blanks family can do. Never mind Together Home at Last. When you're dealing with the Blanks, it's just like, hey, I have an idea. And everybody cringes. Like, wow,
No
guys.
cringe. I straight up groan.
Yeah, she's anything but shy. Anyway,
Especially when it comes to this department, it's just like, seriously?
Yeah, I got another
crap,
plan.
what is it now?
So, learning from Dina's experience and our own over these many years.
BS.
Oh, no, just renting.
BS.
It's just renting. Because those who can't teach, blah, 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 stuff like that.
Yeah, but in your particular renting history, it's a lot of BS.
Yeah, and especially when it leads to being homeless, when you're paying your rent, when you're being a good tenant, keep your head down, do your thing. But, so, we're between buying the house and looking at, here's an idea. Let's get land, which should be well within our affordables, including the down payment.
Theoretically.
Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, can't wait to talk to Sue. We'll get a piece of land, and we'll get a trailer, and we're either going to build or get a pre-built house. Modular house, or prefabricated.
Those are almost one and the same.
Yeah, almost. Just like one little switch of the housing code. There we go. You know what? Let me come back to something here. When you were doing, before everything went wrong in RD, and you were learning what credits and stuff you had to change, what was the general thing they were telling you?
For my personal, it was that income ratio, which I don't remember exactly what the ratio should be, but mine was very kilted the other way. So my debt cleaned up, and that slowly but surely raised the credit score. And we also had to turn around and get to boost the score.
Okay, what just happened? There we go. Sorry, guys. We're still having some technical difficulties over here, but we'll be okay. Now when I just did it, and how long was it? That's 2 years now.
What?
The great credit rotation.
Karma?
No, your credit rotation thing you were just talking about. That's 2 years ago, right? It feels like 5 to me. So
I started my credit repair 5 years ago, and it took 2.5 to get to a acceptable score of society.
Which can be anything from 580 to 800.
Actually,
wow.
580 is new. It used to be had to be no less than 620.
Okay,
and that's
so
where
you're
it
the
was
last
when
of the
I
620.
yeah.
Okay, all right. So, and of course, by nature, you say, well, 620 good, 622, 625, and 650 are better. You like better.
Once you meet the minimum, if you can, the higher you can get your score past that minimum, the better your interest rate is going to be.
Okay. So now here's one for you. Speaking of income ratio, part of the thing that's funny is, in reality, when it comes to your payment, be it rent, mortgage, whatever, you tend to not care about anything but what do I need to do to meet this obligation, pay my bills, and move on.
Pretty much.
Yep, just straight ahead. Okay. So here's the thing. Did you know that you cannot have a payment of mortgage that is more than 30% of your income to qualify to get this thing, right? And I'm going, huh. Well, let's see. We've been operating off of a 1,600 budget for 5 years. And during that time, we've paid rent as high as 900 and all the way down to 765. Definitely more than 30%.
Actually, you originally started at 700.
Oh, that's right. When we first got here, we thought it was a typo.
Yeah, we thought it was a typo.
Oh my God, it's 700. I'm sorry, you must have dropped a 0 or an 8 or thought you, okay. Gonna find out it wasn't a typo. And even then, that's what's really funny. We almost didn't get the house because the landlord, who had been burnt by other tenants, was wondering if we could actually afford the 700, and we were just coming out of a $1,650 house. 700 is a blessing. Do you hear me? Oh my God, yeah, we can afford it. Well, I prefer some more income, so it's like, you're coming with, right? Of course I'm coming with. Oh.
Where else was I gonna go?
And
I didn't have the credit at the time.
Ah, it's true, but more the adventure.
And the judgment was a lot higher at that time too. So I was like,
wasn't that the
off of the credit card that the first boyfriend stole.
Mm.
Always watch your cards.
And never just, you go get it, honey. I'll be okay. I watched that happen a lot growing up in my neighborhood. Oh, honey, just run down the stairs and get so and so, and they did. They got exactly what they were told to get, and then they turned around and
got extra.
Couple things on sale. It was on sale. Well, true,
Yeah,
I didn't need
Sears,
that, but
so it's not like the sale prices were all that great, anyways.
actually, for the tool part, just saying.
Okay, you say so. I don't think so.
I used to work at Sears, so it's like there's no real discount, but if you got the card, there's a discount, and you're an employee. So that's the other reason I was hoping to get it Sears. No, okay. Matter of fact, and I know we're all over the place here, but in all honesty, that's how messy life is, though.
Yeah.
You can't just say, well, it's actually a fine family tradition that doesn't get us a country song. Just say, Hank Williams had a fine family tradition.
Dang straight.
And got music out of it.
Any hooters.
Ooh, speaking of Hooters, yeah, somebody send me wings. Anyway, okay. When dealing with the credit system, though, that actually kind of blew my mind. So we were at 38% on our income ratio, and I'm going, that don't sound right. And she's like, oh no, I mean, well, you got to allow for homeowners insurance, mortgage insurance, taxes, interest, and principal. And when that all added up, it brought us to 38%. And I'm like, that's not that bad. Just considering what my normal thing is, I'm pretty sure we're good to go. And she's like, I can't do this with that 8% there. Just, you got to get it down. And you're like, seriously? We're on a time crunch at the time we're talking to Sue. So, like,
panic.
Really don't have time to sit here and say 8%. Where can I go find a paper route to bump this 8% out of the way? Because that's all I can figure out there. I'm not able to do the physical work that I wasted my 20s on, because I wasted quite a bit in my 20s. And I don't have the mindset to be too patient with businesses that don't honor their customer service behavior agreement. Customers always right is not always right. That's just goofy. But when you say you're going to do something, I expect you to do it. And since I'm the front guy standing there serving that customer, which is the only reason I left Sears, because I had a fight with my boss over at Die Hard, which I got a recommendation letter for, but is that death in my window or outside? Okay.
And it's not death.
Oh, cool. Just a bug. All right. So, hey, thanks for spring, guys. My winter was fine and bug-free. Yeah, moving on. So, got this 38%, and we have to figure this out. And that's part of what led to the thing. So, we got the pressure off us for where to be. Just, it's off as far as I'm concerned. There's a process to be done, and we'll just go through it. But the more important part is it made me start thinking about, well, what are we actually going to do if we can't be here? Where are we going to go? And the land thing came up. And so I called Dina Marie and said, hey, all right, snow code.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, yeah. But tell that story on a different broadcast. Each child has their own special name. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
I hate the snow.
Doesn't matter if you love the snow. It matters, So, moving forward. Yeah. See, that's what I mean by off the path. Okay. Disney. There we go. Let's look at land and make a plan. And the thing that's changed from the 20s till now is you do it in stages, right? You don't try and do everything at once. You do them. So we'll find out from Sue Monday if we credit qualify to do what we do or if it's allowed to do. Okay. And if it is, then we move to the next stage, which is get the down payment, get the land, get it locked, get it done. And then what are we doing from there? Well, oh, we'll have to put something on it. Oh, wait, we have a friend who can babysit the land. Ha! Now, there you go. You want a real friend? A friend that'll babysit your piece of land for you. That's a friend. So, she needs a place to put her RV. We need a babysitter. Life is good. And that helps us work on the septic and the well and the other, getting all that in place, getting the property cleared. See, there's a planned stage for this. But we come back to the credit argument again. And what's okay to use your FICO credit on the 580 first-time homeowner versus just which, let me switch over to that one. And let's talk about FICO scores. Because guess what? FICO is no longer the Cadillac of credit. It's there and it exists. And you can get it on almost anything that you do, as far as like, even our Fingerhut says, you want your FICO score? And we're like, sure, I guess, whatever. And we look at the number and we're all, now we find out, it's not bad. Okay. But a lot of banks, as stated here, are starting to get away from the system because the FICO score says you're good to go. As a general rule, they're okay. But if you check your TransUnion, your Equifax, and who's that third monster? They're gone now. They say that you're only worth like a 502, whereas FICO can have you as high as 592 at the same time. So now the banks are going back over and they're doing the average and they're really looking at your credit reports to see what's on them to make sure that they don't waste their time and end up getting suckered. Okay, so here's my question to all you people who stopped by for a second. How many of you with intent, because it's not the accidents of life, it's the intent that I actually focus on. How many of you are willing to give up your housing because you don't want it? I mean, just one day you wake up and you're like, you know what? F it. I'm not paying mortgage no more. It's not worth it. Now, if we're talking about credit cards, that's one thing. If we're talking about cars, it gets a bit skiffy. But if you're talking about someone's housing, that really shouldn't be, if it's in an affordable range, a risk for a bank at all, because those who don't like being indoors and like being off the grid, I respect you. I think you're crazy, but meh. Okay.
I'd actually spend more time off grid if I didn't have the kids.
Yeah, but see, that was something that we were. Hold on a second. There you go. That'll help smooth that out. I got too many shots set up here. Me and Melissa were talking about that. If she didn't have Dylan right now, she wouldn't have cared about the RV. So when you have children, it's a game changer. I took my car for a couple weeks, and even we up here in the mid-class, upper class thing, we thought about Martha was clear car, and we ain't been no been there, done that, ain't going back, won't do it. Okay, so everybody has this line they won't cross. But for some strange reason, the credit system doesn't follow the logic, common sense of what's needed. Okay? And
life doesn't follow common sense.
That's why I want to live. There's the other Al Steiner, and the book is called Greenies. Oh, universe, seriously. And the rule on Mars, and the most insulting thing you could ever do to somebody is insult their common sense. And I was just enjoying the crap out of it and ignoring the sex scenes because it's like, that'll never happen. That's like watching porn. Not really going to follow that. But to live in a system where crime made sense for the punishment you got, and no, you don't get off on good behavior. You just get your penalty.
Punishment, serve it,
done.
Forward.
And if you're dumb enough to come back and do it again, at some point, common sense says that it's over, it's done, and they don't execute. But hey, we can send you where it doesn't matter if you're a criminal, back to Earth. And I thought, cool. Earth, penal colony, beyond Australia. Nice. Okay, so I know I didn't bring you a lot today, and this laggy thing is driving me nuts. But if you want a home, wait. Not ready for the closing. We took the credit system out of our programs. If you can show me that, or actually even Dina, if I can bribe her enough to help me out with that particular part of our program, that your plan is solid, right? You could afford this if you could get the hand up to get what you need. Right. So you need a non-interest loan of 85,000, and we break that over years. Oh no cheating! There went the calculator. Anyway, it's like, damn, I thought she was gonna do that snap math. Like, that's how smart my baby is.
Well,
Yeah.
my boy took that from me.
Okay. So
222.
222. All right. So 85,000 over 30 years is 222. Add in some insurance, taxes, blah 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 across the board, and guess what? You have affordable housing, which is all we intended to do. And we're talking about credit today. And just in case someone's watching, just in case, hold that thought. What?
But Together on Home at Last, you want to have the no interest, not worry about the credit score, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one thing that we will have to focus on, not looking at the score, but looking at the lines of credit that they have going on their score and what has balances, to make sure that when we go to hand them this money to get them their home, they are going to be able to financially afford it. So if you have a lot of these little payments chipping away at your income, that could knock you on your butt faster than you'd realize.
And what was the point in helping you if we're just going to really be helping you knock you on your butt?
Exactly.
So,
just wanted to point that out.
So maybe we should increase the non-interest loan to reasonably chisel.
Well, like I said,
because I mean, like
somebody lost their home because of a fire.
Right, and insurance didn't really cover as much as they thought it would.
As long as you don't have a whole lot of debt to your income, it's not so much the ratio. I mean, okay, technically it breaks down to a ratio, but it's just kind of common sense. You have $300 a month in credit card payments that you have to make.
Ooh, good God.
Some people have them out there.
I know, right?
I know.
Ooh.
I know.
How bad did you need that Clark bar? Damn, dude.
Between me and my old man, we probably are well in the 200s. Put them all together. Well, maybe not now.
Actually, you know what? No, we're actually close for the first time ever. So, like the finger hut thing, it's finally at that. Ooh, we're almost at 200 because there's the Great Christmas debacle. That's matter of fact. As much as I love finger hut, please do finger hut for Christmas. Because you're like, oh boy, I'm gonna get the grandkids this, and oh, my daughter's gonna want that. And when you're done, you feel good because there's presents under the trees and people are smiling at your house and not just eating your food. It's a family holiday, great moment. That comes back by June, and you're like, oh crap, I now have this really big payment. And the minimum payment is never enough to make you feel like, oh, this is working, because you know.
Yeah, unless you got lucky and got one of those cards that has a no interest for X amount of time. Credit cards, I have no interest until like July on it. When I opened it last year, I had a whole year no interest, so every payment I made was purely to the balance.
That's it.
Coming this summer, I start having interest on it, which is going to be about the standard 25% for a credit card.
Good. Matter of fact, can someone explain that? Oh, wait. Let's cover this quickly. Hold on a second. I almost forgot why we're here, because y'all are just so quiet. And since I'm doing this on YouTube, I'm used to doing the Facebook thing and, I'll pop comments. And like, oh, hey, yeah, I should answer that. The phone number is 320-405-9538 to call in and talk with us today about credit scores, real estate, housing, debt ratios, getting a hot tub in your house when you really need one versus want one. There, just. Anyway, she's young. Forgive her.
It's just cute. Oh, I'm sorry. Wow. No one needs a hot tub. No, you don't need a hot tub.
Bubbles and bones.
They sell bubble bath for $1.97. There's your bubbles.
No. Those just sit there. I'm looking for a little action on bones here. I wasn't kidding. My 20 was full of stupid.
Oh no, I'm fully aware how stupid your 20s, 30s, and 40s are full of stupid.
Oh yeah. Yes.
don't need a hot tub.
You too. You're right. I need a jacuzzi. I need a spa with light up buttons. Yes,
Okay.
light up buttons.
This argument will be put on
It's
hold
not an
for a
argument.
later
It's
time.
just a fact of fact. I need a spa with light up buttons to entertain me while I'm soaking and doing my bubbles and bones.
You don't.
Do.
Not.
Then why do I need a shower and a tub?
Be clean.
So, for one, bubbles, bones, and clean. Because bubbles and clean go together, and bones are happy. So, need. Ha! Okay. I'm the dad. No discussions, no arguments. We'll just do it my way. That used to be my old T-shirt. Got a new one.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway, so, as I said, let me give you guys about 5 more minutes because if you're not calling, the delay that she finds really funny and cute is annoying the piss out of me. So, it's like 320-405-9538. Come on live and chat with us here. And it's nice to have a sidekick to talk about things familiar. Because for me, I want to call it new. But I mean, I come from a Section 8 and public housing background where 30% is the given. Oh, 30 to 33% of your income will be your rent, and that is that. So then you're hearing you can't go over 30. And you're like, even public housing goes to 35. Like grandma's old building down there on Laurel. They went so far, and then when it hit the cap where the 30 would be ridiculous or just, they flatlined the rent, which pretty much came up to about 40%. They can blend it all. People paid their bills, whatever. So, actually, you know what? I'll be right. Hold on, let me reconfigure this.
Are they ever gonna understand? You can't leave a working man nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go.
Thank you. So we finally get a phone call, and I've been worked in radio long enough to know you don't throw phone calls just like that on the air because you will get bit. You will. And we would have, because someone just called up speaking squirrel from Pennsylvania. Good to know. They speak squirrel. No, not that one from The Emperor's New Groove. This is actually true squeaky squirrel. And he spoke it with an East Coast accent, so I knew that it was squirrel. And so, come back to this day. Dina wants to go, I want to go, and only the squirrels are calling. So we're gonna, yeah, squirrel. And then the delay. There we go. Anyway, yeah, I'm loving that. I want to thank you all, whoever stopped by today, and take the time to call up some mortgage people and some bank people and say, I actually want to know where I am, and take advantage of your free credit reports. They are out there. They are everywhere, and try not to get tagged into the scammers that will then turn around and charge you or commercial. Or if you take this survey, I love those. If you take this survey, you get it free. It's like, if free is free, stop that. Get your stuff and go with it to the bank. Matter of fact, that's what I just did. I got Sue had pulled it and then sent us a copy too, so that we could work on it. And I thought, oh, here, let me go talk to Chad at the bank, and having a real live honest to God conversation instead of them pulling, because pulling your credit to institution hurts your credit, because it's like the guy who was in the refrigerator too long and things went bad. So there you go. You can lose up to what, 8 points or something like that? Minimum 8 point?
Last I heard.
Who? So if you were 580 and you needed to talk to the bank about this home, by them pulling and you not having it in your hand, that's 572. Youch. So you gotta wait for that to bounce back. Hopefully you're not on time crunch. That would be bad. Anyway, so
it's going to take them near a year to get that back, depending on what your credit activity is.
Wow. Yeah, you still didn't pay off the judgment. You still didn't pay off the blah, blah, blah. Oh, wow. And in my case of not drunken days, my nightmare is called diesel driving school and a student loan. Okay, so I speak from experience of past and present and some future. So when you get a chance, please go do that. Go take a look at your life, especially you millennials. Hi. Let's get past entitlement and all that crap you're accused of, and go to Credit Karma or wherever you choose and get your stuff pulled, print it out, take it to the bank, and act. This is Jeff Blanks, and hold on, I've got to do one more thing here before we leave. I cannot leave without doing the thing. So there we go. Sorry, hold that thought. Sorry, wrong clickety clickety. We will be back next Sunday. I wanted to make sure, it's like, because I gotta have time to write the stuff and research the stuff. So yeah, we'll be back next Sunday. And next week, I think we'll be talking about. Oh wait, here's a phone call. Hello, how can I help you?
Ocean man, take me by the hand, take me to the land. Don't you understand?
Hi. And this is why I love live. I do. Because this happens. Thank you. And they're gone. Yeah, and I'm just like, wow. So, yeah, I'm going to take that as a divine hint that we've been seen, because the only way to call the number is to see the show, get the number, call the show. There you go. And I want to thank those who did call, and I'm sure I'll get calls all afternoon from squirrels and singers and ooh, lordy. Yes, sir. A whole bunch of stuff. But I thank you for, matter of fact, I thank the two people who called one who spoke squirrel, one who was singing, for watching our show today. And next week we will be back on time without the lag and the delay, because it just bugs me. And we will see you then. What? What? Were you about to sing closing time for me? Really? No? Really? You want to sing for that? Really? Just one verse. Come on. Just throw it out there.
Closing time. Turn on all the lights. Over every girl and every boy.
That'll work.
I was born to the sunrise, breaking back all day. Now I've got something to say.